The Superstar Shakeup is meant to be an event where stars and brands can freshen up, start anew, and rise beyond their previous situations. It's an opportunity for those with less TV time to try and raise their stock with new management, and it's a time where the young guns of NXT can aim to skyrocket their momentum to the very top of the WWE totem pole. The Superstar Shakeup can shock the universe, subjecting audiences to new matchups between stars who were once on opposite brands. It's a change of color, literally, for everyone involved, and is surely meant to add excitement to WWE as a whole. Whether you're moving from blue to red or red to blue, or from yellow to either of those, the Superstar Shakeup is your time to shine. Sadly though, this isn't always the case, as superstars have an equal chance of losing their luster on a new show. Perhaps they don't gel over well with the other stars, as the style on the new show may be different than what they're used to, and they just can't adapt. Alternatively, sometimes superstars who feel stuck on their brands don't move during the Superstar Shakeup, and get kicked even further down the pit of despair. Maybe even becoming a jobber for the higher ranking talent that just moved onto their turf, leaving them feeling ridiculed. And without much TV time, here are 10 superstars who, so far, have not been doing well since the last Superstar Shakeup. Does Zack Ryder still work for WWE? He was on a recent episode of Table for 3 alongside Xavier Woods and Matt Hardy, but aside from that, the Long Island IZ has been totally invisible to WWE television. He wasn't necessarily on the greatest path during his time on SmackDown either, but at least the blue brand acknowledged his existence every once in a blue moon, even if it was getting totally knocked out by his former hype bro Mojo Rawley. He's overcome this sort of thing in the past when he developed his online presence via YouTube. Maybe something similar can get him out of this rut once again. Regardless of the way things are going for Ryder, the broski better find a way to get himself back on WWE TV again so the fans can start chanting woo 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 instead of asking who who who. Is it just me, or has the glorious one not been so glorious lately? When Roode first made his move to NXT, he made an impact, no pun intended, and quickly elevated himself to the NXT title by defeating Shinsuke Nakamura. Not long after he got the call up to SmackDown, he won a tournament for the vacant US title, defeating at the time former champion Jinder Mahal. Things were looking quite glorious for Bobby Roode until he was drafted to Raw, where he has since been rolling down a hill. He's been in mediocre storylines at best and hasn't quite matched himself up as a serious threat against Raw's top tier talents. The Universal title is totally out of his reach, and the Intercontinental title is heading further and further away from his grasp. Bobby Roode is going to need to make a glorious change in order to level up where he once was. Yet another great female competitor who has been duped into sidekick status. Fans seem to adore Natalya, and just before the Superstar Shakeup, she won the SmackDown Women's title in grand fashion at SummerSlam by defeating Naomi. However, after being traded to Raw, Natalya's role began to diminish. Now she only seems to be around to trail alongside the new Raw Women's Champion Rowdy Ronda Rousey. It almost seems like WWE is using Natalya as a way to keep Ronda over with the fans. It's sad that Natalya doesn't have a more dominant spot on the card, especially since she is hitting her final stride in the wrestling ring. Hopefully Natalya finds a way to shake herself from the slump. When the Ascension first arrived in NXT, they were a sight to behold. They were massive, tough, and outright scary. To date, they are still the longest reigning NXT Tag Team Champions of all time. As soon as they were called up to the main roster, however, they were immediately set to the wayside. When the rosters were split between SmackDown and Raw, the devilish duo had a chance to finally raise their stock in the tag team division. Unfortunately, even on SmackDown, they were given lackluster opportunity for the most part. This is until they became regulars on the infamous Fashion Files, which was picking up a crazy amount of steam on SmackDown. Sure, their evil, intimidating persona was replaced with comic relief, similar to what WWE did with Kane, but at least they were getting airtime, and their silly chemistry with Tyler Breeze and Fandango was getting them over with the fans. This all came to a halt when both teams were moved to Raw during the Superstar Shakeup, and the Fashion Files soon stopped getting a spot on WWE TV, leaving both the teams in limbo. After the roster split, it seemed as if Tyler Breeze and Fandango had a fighting chance of becoming SmackDown Tag Team Champions. They're great in the ring, they were over with the fans, and Fashion Files was providing the WWE Universe with solid segments of comedically delivered entertainment. They were on a high rise and fast, but like their comic book on-screen villains, the Ascension, BREEZANGO faded into forgetful mediocrity as soon as they were switched to the Raw brand. Absolution was being built up to be a prominent stable in WWE's women's division. Being led by the returning Paige, the group was ready to make a splash. However, due to Paige once again receiving a devastating injury, she was put back on the shelf for several weeks. Paige watched DEVILLE and Rose from the sidelines, maintaining her presence in the group, but soon announced her retirement. The next day, during the Superstar Shakeup, Paige was moved to SmackDown as the new GM, and DEVILLE and Rose followed suit. However, Paige would not pull them favors. Absolution is essentially no more, but Rose and DEVILLE are still in a partnership. However, since the Superstar Shakeup, it feels as though DEVILLE has been sidelined to Rose a little bit, as the blonde bombshell is seemingly being featured in matches on TV just a tad bit more. It's about time for DEVILLE to make a big move before she completely falls off the map. Shelton Benjamin's return was highly anticipated. He came into WWE in 2002, joining forces with Charlie Haas to form the self-named World's Greatest Tag Team. After being taken under the wing of Kurt Angle, Benjamin and Haas won Tag Team Gold. And later, as a singles star, Benjamin also scooped up the Intercontinental title and also became a 3-time US champion. When Benjamin returned to WWE in 2017, he was soon teamed up with Chad Gable. The two seemed to have a nice chemistry and were quickly elevating the SmackDown Tag Team division. Gable, however, was unexpectedly traded to Monday Night Raw during the Superstar Shakeup. Benjamin cut a promo essentially stating that Gable was holding him back from his true potential and was going to continue on as a singles competitor. However, in recent months, Benjamin has barely been on TV and is nowhere close to being in any title contention anytime soon. Just like his partner, Gable has barely been seen on TV since moving to Monday Night Raw after the Superstar Shakeup. While on SmackDown, Gable was getting great opportunities in the tag team division as well as singles competition, even having a great match against the phenomenal AJ Styles. Later that night, Styles went on to claim that Gable was it in the ring on Talking Smack. Daniel Bryan during that same segment also called Gable a stud. Why Gable has been essentially absent on Raw TV is hard to understand, given his athleticism and how over he is with the fans. Asuka to date is the only superstar to remain completely undefeated for their entire run in NXT. Combined with her run in WWE, Asuka surpassed Goldberg's winning streak, possibly the longest of our generation. When she was put up against Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's title at Mania, fans were in awe. Asuka's streak versus Flair's title and heritage. If there was ever a women's match more worthy of being the main event of WrestleMania, this was it. Unfortunately for Asuka, she lost the match, and things have been totally downhill since then. She has since lost several other matches, including her second title opportunity against Carmella. For the longest time, nobody was ready for Asuka, but it seems as if the main roster has figured her out. The modern-day Maharaja's WWE journey is a wild one. He went from an aristocratic Punjab character to an air guitar-wielding member of 3MB. Alongside Heath Slater, and as surprising as it is to say now, Drew McIntyre, to being abruptly fired from the company. However, Mahal used this opportunity to better himself and returned to WWE about 2 years later, bigger, stronger, meaner, and edgier. Though Mahal's return as part of the Raw brand was lackluster, he made a huge ruckus when he was drafted to SmackDown Live during his first Superstar Shakeup. He put his foot down demanding his opportunity, and he got it. Jinder started a feud with the then WWE Champion Randy Orton and won his first WWE Heavyweight title at Backlash. His reign was impressive, and he defeated Orton again in a Punjabi prison match, and he held on to the title for a total of 170 days before losing the title to the current champ AJ Styles on SmackDown. Not long after that, Mahal rose to prominence again when he won the US title. Things took a turn for the worse when Mahal, as US champ, was traded to Raw during the Superstar Shakeup. He took the title to Raw and lost it immediately to Jeff Hardy, who then took the title back to SmackDown. Since then, Mahal's spot on the card has greatly decreased, and he went from this angry, intimidating man to this sort of zen character. I mean, it's nice that Mahal has taken a chill pill for his own sake, but at the same time, he has totally lost his edge, and it's unclear when he may have his next title opportunity given his role as of late. The Maharaja may be Shanti, but his career is definitely not. And these are 10 superstars who got screwed after the Superstar Shakeup. I hope you're all having an amazing day. Thank you so much for watching Wrestling Hub, and I'll see you later with more videos.